Are you looking for farmers markets, playgrounds, parks, community events where everybody gathers together and you're sure to bump into somebody you know? Hi, I'm Miriam Matlock with NextDoor Realty.
This is AJ Angela with NextDoor Realty. We are St. Louis real estate experts. If you're looking to buy a home and if you're wondering what neighborhood to be in, please give us a call. Our contact information is below.
Today we're going to be talking about the friendliest neighborhoods in St. Louis City and County.
These are the neighborhoods where you can make an eye contact with your neighbor, have a friendly conversation, walk your dog around, and be part of some vibrant and fun communities. I love the Shaw neighborhood. It's got a botanical garden. In the summers, it's so much fun because you got the Whitaker Festival every Wednesday. You could just walk around and spend a whole day at Botanical Garden and not be tired. The food scene is great. The restaurants are some of the best restaurants and the wine bars in St. Louis are in the Shaw neighborhood. It's a very fun and safe neighborhood.
The Shaw neighborhood has a variety of types of old-fashioned homes that are large, real wood floors, maybe 3 or 4 stories sometimes.
There are a lot of 2 to 4 families as well. So for someone who is looking to live in one side, rent out the other part, that could greatly offset your monthly expenses.
There's even 4 families.
Yeah, and then large single-family homes too. A lot of those are 2-story homes, typically have flat roofs, and then a great backyard, fenced in, garage on the backside, all brick exterior. These are some of the characteristics of the buildings in the neighborhood.
Also, in the Shaw neighborhood, you're going to find restaurants and walkable cafes and little family-owned shops, which is always so fun. Soulard is one of the friendliest neighborhoods in the city. It's a diverse population of people and ages and backgrounds. There's dog parks where people meet and talk and chat. There's the farmers market, which is large, and lots of people come to it from outside of Soulard just because it's so affordable, such great produce. The
restaurant and the night scene is great. It's vibrant. You got some of the iconic bars and restaurants like John D. McGirt's. And they host a phenomenal St. Pat's parties out there for Mardi Gras. Hosts the biggest parade in St. Louis. That's right in Soulard. It's very historic. It's got the charm. A lot of local owned businesses. It's super walkable. You don't need a car to get around in Soulard.
One of my previous clients, who doesn't even live in St. Louis, bought a house in Soulard just to be here for the Mardi Gras week and like week and a half prior to the big parade.
Accessibility to downtown, like if you want to go to ball game, you could just walk from Soulard. The Hill is another neighborhood we like. It's got a ton of Italian heritage and the history. You know, fun fact, Yogi Berra played baseball in his beginning days in the Hill, right on Elizabeth Avenue, and also the home of toasted ravioli, one and only St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis is known for its toasted ravioli, and many of the restaurants probably now make it by hand just to keep up with the demand. But there are original recipes here on the Hill for this toasted ravioli that everybody loves so much. The Hill has a variety of types of homes, but for the most part, they're smaller. It's a smaller community, pretty close-knit. I would say the people who live on the Hill mostly have lived there for quite a while.
And it's generational. Families pass on their homes to the next generation, and also people sell it to people they know. And a lot of local-owned businesses, a lot of restaurants, recipes that probably go back for generations.
There have been 2 restaurants from the Hill featured on TV shows like HGTV. I'm not sure which networks they were on, but there were 2 that did little remakes and remodels.
Yeah,
and so,
Charlie Guido's is iconic. I believe the chef used to work in the White House.
Wow, yeah. I mean, the Hill is a really iconic place that even if you don't live, you should check out coming to St. Louis. And if you are trying to get into the Hill, there is a little bit of new construction going on, kind of right along the roads closest to the highway, and they're doing a great job making them more soundproof than they've ever been. So now that property value can kind of come up a little bit more than what was there before.
Next up, we have Dogtown. Such a good neighborhood. It's got a good mix of multifamily, single-family homes, super walkable, lots of local restaurants, hosts one of the parades for St. Pat's here in St. Louis, accessible to the Forest Park. You just cross the bridge or the road, you're on the other side. You're in the Forest Park, one of the biggest in the country. There's Turtle Park nearby in the in the Dogtown area that's super cool to take kids to.
Yeah, when we walk up to St. Patty's for the parade and we do the race every year, walking through Dogtown is always how we go because we park through in Dogtown. And as you walk down the sidewalks, there's like chalk and paint of all the different shamrocks, and everyone's on their porch like cheering you on and like offering you beers as you walk up to the parade. And it's fun. It's a fun environment where people aren't afraid to talk to each other and get to know each other. They leave out a lot of those little book library mailboxes,
Yeah.
I think last year I even saw a snack cabinet and a coffee cabinet on the other side. It was just open to the public. Like, I've created this little snack place. Feel free to eat some of it. It's just such a fun place to be where people really enjoy each other and celebrating together. The last one we're going to talk about is Tower Grove. The Tower Grove area is so friendly, and it's brought all together by a huge park, the Tower Grove Park in the middle of it, which rivals, the size of Forest Park, I think, because it's walkable, but it has room for multiple parks for families and for different events.
There's a lot of annual fun events, right? International Festival draws north of 10,000 people for the whole weekend. And you got the Food Truck Fridays starting in May, going all the way to September. I believe it draws about 10,000 people on every Friday when the Food Truck Fridays are on.
And it doesn't feel super crowded, but it does feel busy and fun. It's not like shoulder to shoulder. You can still get your food and go get a blanket and lay it out and enjoy people or meet up at a landmark with your friends.
If you're into softball, there's a lot of beer leagues on Tower Grove Park that happen throughout the week.
Oh, kickball
in the
too.
Summer. Kickball, yeah, softball.
One of the things I really like about Tower Grove is the variety of size homes, because they've got a lot of multi-families, so you can get an apartment or a condo for a pretty affordable amount. But there's also big single families or converted 2 or 4 families that then there's a lot of space in.
Yeah.
There's some coffee shops in the London Tea Room, which are all walkable, and a couple local walkable bars, and a great costume shop with old-fashioned and authentic vintage clothing, which I love.
The Dam is an iconic soccer bar. It's an English pub if you're interested in soccer. That's a place to be to watch a soccer match.
What about the north side of Tower Grove?
Walkable to Botanical Gardens, the Shaw neighborhood. You're a couple of blocks in, you're into the Shaw neighborhood. It's fun on the north side. And east side, it adjoins the South Grand Boulevard, which probably has the most diverse restaurants of all kinds of food on South Grand.
Lots of different cuisines, Mediterranean, Thai, authentic Mexican just came in recently that I love. Breakfast joints. Still has a couple of, I think there's a couple mixed in Starbucks and grocery shops and gas stations. But for the most part, every single restaurant you hit is going to have something that you'll love. So those are the 5 friendliest neighborhoods in the city. Now let's move on and talk about some of the friendly neighborhoods in the county. As you may have known from other videos we've done, I love Webster Groves, and I would say it's one of the friendliest neighborhoods in the county. It's a diverse neighborhood with a university, great schools, parks, and 2 separate downtown areas, depending on where you're living and where you can walk to. Some of the things I really like are the Green Tree Festival, the local shops that are locally owned and run, and then even the restaurants that are partnered together, like the Annex is partnered with the Frisco Bar. So they're owned by the same owner. And one's a little shop where you can get a deli sandwich and put a gift box together like a grocery store. The other one's a nighttime, nightlife, live music venue right next door to each other. And these are the kind of things I love about Webster Groves, is that there's this local vibe of people knowing each other, saying hey, and catching up at their local eatery, bar, shop, and doing just a lot of walking, a lot of hanging out.
Webster Groves is home to some of the most historic large single-family homes in the St. Louis County.
Yeah, some of the homes in Webster will have that classic 4-square feel, but people have added on a lot of additions as well, like big porches and gazebos in the back, and their gardens are phenomenal. There's like a competition every year to see whose garden is the best, and trophies are handed out. And I think that the community really enjoys sharing their garden with the rest of the neighborhood. So there'll be flowers out with signs saying, pick these flowers, or there'll be little pixie gardens where kids can stop and play in people's exterior gardens of their house. It's really friendly and very fun. I think Webster Groves is definitely one of the most friendly neighborhoods in the whole county. I was born and raised there, so I may be biased, but let me give you a couple of examples. In Old Orchard, there is a gazebo, and they do gazebo music in the summertime. And people walk from all over Webster Groves to come, bring their lawn chairs, hang out, buy some food locally, or bring a picnic basket. And a lot of people know each other from school, from the university, from working together, just locally in that neighborhood. Another part of Webster Groves that's great is the old Webster Groves downtown area. So they're close to each other. You could walk from one to another pretty easily, but they are two separate places. And Old Webster's got a little bit more restaurant feel, but they also block off the road and do like a jazz and blues fest every year. So there's big parties in a small neighborhood, or at least they feel big for the smaller neighborhood that's there. Also in Webster Groves, there's huge trees. They really love their arborists and their trees and their gardens. Because of the huge trees, you can walk around neighborhood to neighborhood on all the sidewalks and feel like you're in the shade, even in the hot summers, and saying hello to neighbors as they sit on their porch. And there's a porch fest where they play music, and you can walk from porch to porch around Webster Groves and hear music and hang out. Halloweens are great. People walk around with drink carts, and they hand out treats for the adults as well. And it's so nice to know so many people in the same area for all these different events, and just feel like you are bumping into friends everywhere you go.
Another neighborhood is Kirkwood. I love it. We live in it. It's a great family-friendly neighborhood. It's got historic charm, the farmers market, the train station downtown. It's iconic, right? You got a ton of restaurants, so walkable neighborhood. The downtown is amazing. It's got lots of restaurants, coffee shops, local neighborhood stores. The Green Tree Festival annually that happens. It's pretty large. It's an amazing event. And the Turkey Trot, the annual football between the Webster Groves and the Kirkwood High School is pretty iconic.
We're not rivals, even though our neighborhoods kind of are our favorite neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We went to the Turkey Trot this year and ran by his house, waving as he held his girls with his wife. It was very sweet. So participating all the while.
So Kirkwood has a lot of single-family homes that are historic. If you stay on some of the historic district like Argonne, Jefferson, Adams, you got all these large historic homes that have been over for 100 years, like the century homes. And then there's a ton of new build, right? Large single-family homes that are just about $1 million or plus or minus. There's a lot of that. And Kirkwood also has a lot of multifamily homes, like condos are pretty popular. You can find a product along those lines.
Yeah, I think one of the unique features of some of those new constructions is that Kirkwood has a lot of custom builders. So they're not just a standard, I don't want to say a name.
Cookie cutter.
But yeah, they're not like cookie cutter. Your house isn't going to look exactly necessarily like somebody right next to you like it would in a new construction suburb. But instead, people are doing custom new construction. So you're kind of seeing it is new, but it is also unique.
63122 is large. It shares zip code with Glendale, which is adjacent to Kirkwood, and also Oakland, which is also Kirkwood School District, but it's a separate city within Kirkwood.
One of my son's favorite stores in Kirkwood is the minifigure store, downtown Kirkwood, right by one of my favorite coffee shops. So we're able to grab a coffee and head over and pick out some minifigures for him. Yeah, my sister lives in Kirkwood, and her 3 kids have attended all of the schools there, and they've raved about it. They've loved all of the Kirkwood schools, despite me being a Webster through and through rival fan. and she went to Webster High School too, just saying. They have really loved the Kirkwood schools, and they are well rated in the nation, known for being really just high quality schools where a lot of people in St. Louis go the private route or they find a place in Kirkwood.
Speaking of school districts, Clayton is another one. Top school district. Clayton is known as the business district for the state of Missouri. A lot of restaurants, walkable to some parks. Clayton Park has a Clayton Art Fair that happens in September. It's personally my favorite event in St. Louis. The Taste of Clayton is amazing. You can go to multiple restaurants and experience a great dining experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting feature for Clayton in my mind is that it is as friendly as other neighborhoods, but so much more business oriented, which feels a little like those would not be congruent together, but it's like a friendly business area. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a lot of meetings. Like if you want to have a friendly business meeting and catch up, they're like, let's go to Clayton. Like there's a lot of outdoor patios and walkability for that.
Clayton has some really tall condo buildings around the business district, but as you kind of move around to more neighborhood within Clayton, you'll find a lot of single family homes or condos that are only like 3 units.
Sometimes it's surprising. There'll be a big, beautiful, looks like a single family home, but it's actually 3 condos on 2 levels with a lot of space, still almost feeling like a single family.
Particularly around the Dumont area, right? The Cafe Dumont, where there's a lot of restaurants, and the iconic Caldi's coffee shop right there. It feels like a park because it backs into the Concordia Seminary School. That little cul-de-sac, that strip right there is super cool. It's very sought after. There's a lot of condos you can find in like $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 2 families in that area.
I recently showed a very affordable, huge single family home with a huge yard, under $1 million, right on like the main strip of Clayton, like right outside of the downtown area. Did need a little work. Needed quite a bit of work. But it's one of these homes that like with a little bit of love and a little bit of updating could then really, really hold its value and be worth so much more in the long run, which this is still happening even in this market. Yeah. So I think that that's super exciting to see. You know, although I love Webster and Kirkwood so much, Clayton is so well located.
It's right on the central corridor, easy access to highways 6440, 170. If you're trying to go east or west, north or south.
It's right there. It's like the hub of everything St. Louis.
And it's on the one end, it joins Forest Park on the west end, home to WashU right there along Skinker.
Brentwood is south. It's got great shops and the Galleria. Yeah, so well located.
Clayton is awesome. Great for its location. Our next friendliest neighborhood is U City, or University City, which is just north of Clayton.
Yeah, I love U City for the Del Mar Loop. Just so well known for jazz, blues, creative, kitschy little shops, the Blue Note.
And the diversity.
Yeah.
It's so eclectic. It's so cool.
Art shops. Coffee shops. The trolley has recently been totally redone, repaved, and it runs, and people can ride it. It's pretty phenomenal.
U City is close to Washington University, so it houses a lot of that academic community in that area. So it's got some density in terms of apartments, condos, but there's also pockets of U City that are single-family homes and nice gated communities. It's an awesome neighborhood.
Yeah, I think the friendliness in U City comes a lot from people's willingness to talk, kind of almost like one side, the university side, like I have something cool to talk about, like I'm doing this study and I've got this information. And on the other side of that, people just like experiencing fun life and like wanting to share their experiences. So it's a lot of storytelling and people kind of sharing sometimes with you even unprompted, which makes it super fun.
And the last one we're going to talk about is a neighborhood called Maplewood. It is Slightly more affordable than Webster and Kirkwood. It's got slightly smaller homes, but great, friendly, and family-oriented neighborhood.
Yeah, I would love Maplewood for its restaurants and stores. They are somewhere between the Del Mar Loop and Webster Groves. They've got a really great bookstore that's 2 levels, Pensy Spice Shop, a local Paramount jeweler where they fix and sell jewelry, great comic book store, the Whiskey Barrel sample store. So many, and a couple high-end places. There's a great ramen place. The Blue Duck is another really like kind of fancy but hipster restaurant.
How about the Schlafly Bottle Works?
Oh my gosh, Schlafly Bottle Works, of course. I mean, they have
iconic
events.
St. Louis microbrewery.
Oh my gosh. They do farmers markets and local community gatherings. You know, every time I try to sell a house in Maplewood, it has a house sign somewhere in there that's like, Maplewood, I love Maplewood, Maplewoodians. Like, if you want to be part of something that people are like, I love my neighborhood, it could be Maplewood. The schools in Maplewood are great too. Maplewood High School is a place where one of my friend's daughters attends, and she's in all the honors programs, getting college credits, and part of the musical scene too. And there we have it, the 5 friendliest neighborhoods in the city and the county.
If you have any questions or would like more information, please give us a call. Our contact information is below.